And good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are. Welcome to Dreamy Dreamland with your sunsail. That's me. He, we are. On your story. So here we are, having breakfast.
Everyone, this is Dark Journalist. Today I have a special interview for you with former Assistant HUD Secretary Dylan Reed Partner and the President of the Solari Report, Catherine Austin Fitts, returning to the program to tell us that from digital concentration camps to global dictatorship, it's happening now, and we are the last best hope for humanity to defy the centralization and corruption of a transhumanist agenda of total control. They can turn off your refrigerator, they can turn off your water, they can turn off your gas, they can turn off your car, they can turn off your credit card, they can turn off your bank account, everything. Please join us now. Convoy protest might be a good kind of snapshot for this. So on one hand, on the top level, they want to roll out automated driverless cars, driverless transportation. We had all those weird issues around shipping containers, and they were like, oh, the inflation is because of the shipping containers, and they had all this strangeness about transportation before the convoys. They also have a major push there by the truckers in Ottawa. But what's your feeling on this? I mean, on one hand, you have an organic movement, a push, a protest against the vaccine mandates, but then there's something else operative there maybe, which has more to do with organization of this as a way to eliminate and introduce the driverless. Well, here's the thing, the truckers have the talent and experience to pull off an extraordinary thing like this. So you have a lot of the truckers, I don't know the Canadian truckers, but I know the U.S. truckers, and they're arguably one of the most, if not the most competent groups in the country. Right. So they have, lots of experience doing things that are dangerous, risky, and important. Essential functions. A lot of them have military experience. They're very knowledgeable on sort of the intelligence and covert side. They run their own little businesses, so they have to be responsible and accountable and deal with. And the continuity of government, right, kicks in. Talk about America. Well, here's the thing. Trudeau is an idiot, and one thing I think everybody can agree on is, if we want some entertainment, let's get rid of Trudeau. That's a good move for everybody, and it'll certainly be entertaining to watch him go down. So yeah, no question about it. Very, very dicey background there, all the way back to his dad. So our hero of the week next week is the Royal Canadian Mountie who was his security detail who resigned. Wow. Yeah. Talk about a fearless, courageous guy. Yeah, fantastic. Yeah. Talk about America for a moment. and the situation in America. So they've rolled out a number of mandates and things over the course of these 2 years. They shut down a lot of businesses. They've destroyed big swaths of the economy. They've got inflation cramming up the highest since 1981.
Okay, so let's look at the inflation number for a second. Because if you look at the chocolate index.
So, this is dark journalism. You should go take a look at him on the YouTube. And that's Catherine Austin Fitz. And that show was from 2 years ago. Let's see. 22. February of 22. So it gives you a little sense of where we are now. Most people have forgotten what we've just been through since 9/11. And you know, that fact that the Supreme Court put in Dick Cheney as president and George W. as cool boy. And hey, James, Good Friday. Pretty much every day in this world that we live in is Good Friday. Right? We're all dying on the cross, but we don't have to. A great creator, unconditional love is there. As I tell this story, Burning Bush shows up with Moses, and so read this, my people from Egypt. Why should I? I don't even know your name. My name, I am a work in progress, and you are my reflection. We are the man in the mirror to God's reflection. And see what's going on all around us. And we're being led down the criminal's path by a very small group of reptiles, cockroaches. So, I look at the dining room here, this restaurant, and everyone is overweight, diabetic, and looking at their screens. Right? Mindlessly eating their carbohydrates. One, I had blueberry pancakes, 2 eggs of wheat, sausage, bacon, biscuits, cheesy potatoes. And every mouthful, I am demonically blessed that it may heal me, fill me, and move me forward. Let's continue.
Which is what I use. I use shadow stats in the chocolate index to track real inflation. So the notion that inflation has suddenly spiked up means, you've been in a trance. If you think that's true. The chocolate index, depending on where you live, the last 10 years, the average increase, now I'm not talking about monetary inflation, I'm talking about household good price inflation, if you take a basket of 50 of the most common household goods, they have been going up, depending on where you live in the United States, 8 to 12% a year for the last 10 years. So when you tell me inflation is 7.5%, I'm like, yeah, right. Right. That's the Wall Street Journal number. Right, that's the Wall Street Journal number. Well, it's enough. I don't know if you know this. The Fed is having an emergency closed-door session on Monday.
Oh, no.
Yeah. About Valentine's Day massacre coming. I'm sure it's about 7.5% inflation number.
Incredible.
Right. So, and remember, Powell still hasn't been confirmed his new term, so he's acting.
Exactly.
Anyway, so
what would the actual figure be?
Well, if you look at a breakdown of all the inflation numbers, you had numbers that were jumping 20, 40. Let me see if I can find some of the numbers for you, because I was just looking at them the other day. This is since January 2021. Natural gas up 81%, oil up 66%, agricultural commodities up 24%, rent up 13%, used car prices up 44%, gasoline up 36%, cattle prices up 20%, lumber up 15%, coffee up 92%, hotel prices up 37%, but today CPL up 7.5%. Oh yeah, right.
Wow. I think it's clear, at least on the basic disclosing side. Now everyone can say, "Oh, inflation's through the roof," right? So it has been through the roof, but now they're able to talk about it openly.
Well, so now it's easier to talk about openly.
I'm just trying to get at what's happening in America, because...
Okay, here's what's happening in America. You have the coup printing money and buying things, and then trying to manage deflation to offset the monetary inflation, make it cheaper to buy those things. Okay? So I print money, give it, so you've gotten our two latest wrap-ups where we go into the going direct reset.
So, go to Alara's report. Solaris, Catherine Lawson Fitz. She's quite the economist. I've been in the middle of this whole Michigan forever. So Jane, here it is Good Friday. What does this Holy Week mean to you from Palm Sunday to when Jesus allegedly went up into the sky? How do you... Why is that on our dollar bill? What else we got here?
What are you doing? Neighbors, they're on to me. They'll be here soon. Are you? No. I know it. It's right, sons. Sorry. No one can be trusted. There's Dad, one of the founders of Neighbors. Miles Driscoll. Say for me. That's his address. He's managed directly, so I used him to communicate with him, develop a virus that would disable the machine. I was going to upload it myself. I wish you always knew. This is what they think it is. No one Neighbors, please don't tell them anything or hallucinating. They're blaming the tumors. If more than 1 person sees the same thing, there's no proof for any of our claims. And with the military funding the entire project, there's no way they're walking away from the most powerful weapon the world has ever known. One message is all it took to scare them into building it. And the prospect of power. Do they even know? They think they do. But what it says on the box isn't what it really does. Which is what? There's no time, please. Pack all this up, get as much as you can, and gotta get out of here before they come, please. Please. Go. Rich Beth's name on the bedpost. I was hoping you'd figure that out sooner. Hurry. There. Go. Find your slow. Make sure you're not followed. There'll be nothing for you. Don't use your cell phones. Use only. Making sense of the drama these last few days.
Quick walk out of the speaker's lobby across the street to congressional office buildings where we find Pete Sessions, Republican of Texas. Congressman, it's good to meet you.
Thank you very much.
I wanted to start with the news, which is y'all just managed to pass the rules package. No drama that I could see. Should that start restoring some faith to those who worried this Congress was not going to be able to get stuff done, even pass basic stuff?
I think it's interesting for people to know that what they watched was what I call sausage being made in public. I think we remember back after the election day and the week after, we did not know the number or the majority for about 3 weeks.
Talking about the last November elections, and we weren't sure.
We did not know how big or who really was in the majority. So things were delayed in terms of decision making. So what happened is that once that was all determined and established and we turned the corner, the negotiations really began. They began on speakership. They began on the rules package. And we also learned a good bit of information about which committees people want beyond that are decision-making committees. And so all these things then became points of discussion, points that then Mr. McCarthy had to deal with.
Kevin McCarthy had to make all kinds of concessions to win over the holdouts, this very small band, but that was able to hold up the proceedings. Did he win the gavel but give away the farm?
I have referred to this because as former chairman of the House Rules Committee, I saw the rules that then bring our majority together that make us more powerful.
Task Force and co-chair of the Pro-Choice Caucus, also serves as chair of the Task Force on Poverty and Opportunity, now running for the U.S. Senate. Thank you so much for being with us.
Nice being with you. Thank you.
We're going to end today's show in Texas, where 5 women are suing Texas after they were denied abortions, even if their pregnancies pose serious risk to their health and were non-viable. The Center for Reproductive Rights is bringing a lawsuit on behalf of women and 2 doctors. They held a news conference Tuesday in Austin. We begin with Nancy Northup, President and CEO of the Center for Reproductive Rights, who introduced Amanda Zorowski. First, Nancy Northup.
The Supreme Court's unwarranted reversal of Roe v. Wade has resulted in a healthcare crisis in states across the nation, including here in the state of Texas. It is now dangerous to be pregnant in Texas. Doctors and hospitals are turning patients away, even those in medical emergencies. Patients are being denied necessary, life-saving obstetrical care. Why? Because abortion is a crime in Texas, punishable by up to 99 years in prison. What the law is forcing physicians to do is weigh these very real threats of criminal prosecution against the health and well-being of their patients. We filed this lawsuit last night to stop the unnecessary pain, suffering, injury, and life-threatening complications caused by Texas's abortion ban. We filed this lawsuit so that patients will not be hindered, delayed, or denied.
You aren't the only possibility. I love this phrase in the middle of verse 14. He said, there could be enlargement or help or deliverance for the Jews from some other place. You may not be the only answer. You could be the answer, but you might not be the only answer. And I wish Mordecai were here today because I'd like to ask him what he was thinking about. I'd like to know what other options he was thinking about. I mean, at this particular point in time, understanding the story, Esther looks like her only hope. And from the human perspective, she was. But obviously, Mordecai was a man of faith. And though he didn't see any other human option, he may have thought God has another way to come through on behalf of his people. Option number one, Esther, is you can be destroyed. Option number two, God may just pass over you and use somebody else. Or option number three, you may have been born for such a time as this. Maybe God has placed you right in the center of this situation so that you can be God's person, even though it is very uncomfortable. So Esther now has to think this over. Notice verse 15, the decision of a lifetime. Then Esther bade them return to Mordecai this answer. Go gather all the Jews that are present in Shushan, and fast ye for me, and neither eat nor drink 3 days, night or day. I also and my maidens will fast likewise, and so will I go in unto the king, which is not according to the law. And if I perish, I perish. Now the first definition of sovereignty is you're born for such a time as this. But the response to sovereignty is to say, if that's true, I'm going to do what God wants me to do. And if I perish, I perish. I'm not sure how much of what Esther said in that last phrase was of a spiritual decision, or if she had sorted out the options and figured out that in 11 months she was going to die anyway, so she might as well take the risk and at least have the possibility of escaping death if God indeed was in this whole thing.
Ruth. We have some pretty significant concerns coming up with Ruth solo with all the rain.
Jim George with South Lake Tahoe Fire Rescue talking with KGO-TV. North Central California is under flood warning while flood watches have been posted to the south. On Wall Street, the Dow futures down 2 points. This is SRN News.
Your tax-deductible donation to help the Ministry of WHCB can be sent to WHCB P.O. Box 5, Bluffville, Tennessee 37617. That's WHCB P.O. Box 5, Bluffville, Tennessee 37617. Thank you.
If there's one place you can see a lot of people in their own worlds, it's inside an airport terminal. All these hundreds or thousands of people, most not talking to each other, but all going their own way with little notice of those around them as they rush to make their connection. Our station is not like an airport terminal. Here, people make connection and a sense of community thanks to your automatic monthly giving. We can help.
Well, there you are. a cross section of everything that's going on. And it doesn't matter what day it is, what time it is. It is the same old thing. The tomorrow and the tomorrow and tomorrow. And welcome aboard to your dreamy dreamland with your Sensei Al Bob. And I'm your griot here to tell you a story. Here it is Good Friday, the day Jesus died on the cross. The beauty of Jesus is that he never dies. He never dies. He was always conscious intent. He was always there. From birth on. Right? As a little baby. I'm here for you all the time. It's Sensei Al Bob. You agree out to tell your stories. So let's see. Okay, I'm going to boogie off in a few minutes. Thanks for the thumbs up. Go watch my past shows. Most of them they all have a certain level of shamanic love and co-creation. Some are better than others, but just go thumb through it. Go check it out. See what it is. Let it be, right? So Oh, 28 minutes and 12 seconds. I mean, you can go through today's news. I mean, pretty much back in 2015, when Carrot Head announced his autocracy, I was being the action coordinator for the First Christian Church in Roanoke. They needed someone to show that that church had a community relevance, and they hired me I didn't get paid, right? But I did have a church, so I turned it into a disco, I turned it into a jazz bar, I turned it into a true community center, a unbelievable Jamaican restaurant, daycare center, ballet class, tutoring for kids who were having a hard time in school, and didn't cost the church a nickel. Right? And when I came to that church, they had 26 members. Right? It was a church that had over 1,000 people back in its day. And within 2 months, I had 400 people in that church. And the board was like amazed, but they didn't like the fact that the majority of the people who were coming to that church were Black, Hispanic, or white, and LBGQT, USB, and OUSC. And so after 6 months, they, we don't want you anymore. And then they actually told all the people who were coming to their church, if they were black, Hispanic, or poor white, or LGBTQ MOUSC, they're not welcome anymore. Jesus didn't want them. So they went back to 26 old white people. Get off my lawn! And now it's a Starbucks. After I left, a few months after I left, the guy who hired me, who was a handsome 40-something-year-old, and he had been, he was a poster boy for what a good Christian minister, but he wasn't ordained. He didn't go to theology school. He didn't know the Bible, and all his works were scams. It was like nonprofits that he was putting money in his own pocket. And that's pretty much what there's things called TAP, Total Action Plan. Total, they put all the money in their pocket. They take real estate from the city for a nickel, turn it into something that they can. There was a place that had been the Black Center of Culture called the Dumas, and the Dumas was like the Waldorf Astoria for the black folk. And they were all over the country, and they were part of the Chitlin Circle. And Roanoke had an amazing black history and an amazing black economy, had 3 black newspapers. They still have one called the Tribune. Those people are like unbelievable to keep their scene going. And basically, Roanoke is still where it's at. Right? And we got everything is for the white folk, right? White rich folk. And everyone else is the usual suspects. And so this guy who became the minister of this church, he was one of the usual sock puppet usual suspects. And I was really sick. I was getting better, I no longer look like the Walking Dead. But I still, had clamps on my legs, and and they didn't pay me anything, so I had to sleep in the bell upstairs, right? Because the guy said, when the old ladies show up, because the ladies who work in the office were on the board, can't be here, right? And you can run all these events and these organizations and make me look good, but you can't be here when, but you can like sleep in a closet. And so every time they talk about Jesus being buried in a cave, and, it reminds me of being in that church, sleeping in a closet up in the bell. And so that young minister guy, he died of cancer, and everyone else died of cancer. And so the Southern Baptist, whatever that church had been under, sold it to Starbucks and a bar and a place to have drag shows. Now, don't believe a word I say. This is all a story. It's all make believe, and none of this. This is an illusion. This is the shadow. See, I'm in the shadow world. You are going to sleep. You are going to sleep. We're having more war. There's going to be a nuclear war. You're asleep. You're asleep. That breakfast you get, it's like toxic waste from a train derailment. So just have fun with it, That's all I can say. Just have fun with it. Miss T, could I have a little more coffee?
Yes, sir.
Thanks.
I'll bring some back.
Yeah. No hurry. I'm not going nowhere. I might even stay the night.
You'll hang out with me all day?
Yeah.
All right.
Yes. So I do my best when I have a little, just like God, he does his best when he's reflection. But how many of you out there think God is a he? Raise your hand. How many think he's a she? I do. How many do you think it's an it? Now, which pronoun does God use? I don't believe a word I say. I didn't even say that. Breathe in that toxic goo. Breathe it in. Breathe it in. See, your only real reason to being here is to get that new pair of whatever, that new whatever, that thing that you're just dying for, and you'll kill for it, right? Here you don't know why you're carrying an assault rifle into a public school, but you don't remember anything. But you're just screaming, "Kill me, kill me, kill me." Don't believe a word I say. This is all for your entertainment sake. This is like, do you kids remember Rocky and Bullwinkle? That's what this show is, right? This show is Rocky and Bullwinkle, right? And Jojo, the used car salesman, is Boris, and Carrot Head is Natasha. You hear? So, did you have a favorite aunt or in your family who was like always had your back?
Yeah, I did.
Good. You're lucky. You have the most beautiful smile.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, you do. You do. Let's keep smiling, but not in a fake way. From here.
Yes, sir.
God loves you.
I'm sorry?
I said, God loves you, and Jesus has your back.
Yes, sir.
And what's interesting, I'm a theologian, so every religion there is, the same guy God and the same guy Jesus is in it.
Yeah.
It's really interesting. I'd love to see more go to church Christians pray 5 times a day like Muslims.
Yeah.
And you can pray, you don't have to, I mean, they do the full Monty, they sublimate it, they get down on the ground and pray. You don't have to do that, just keeping God in your heart and in your mind. So you
Yes, sir. Oh, thank you. You have a blessed day.
You too. Thanks for your service. So that's what I do. That's when I'm real. On this thing, since no one really responds except for AI, and I'm telling Mr. Globoni, you need me back in employment. I need a 7-figure salary, right? And because if you want to get to Star Trek's Federation, you're going about it a little bit too, right? Yes, the next generation came on, and we met Q. And we got a little glimpse of Roddenberry's insight onto what Earth was going to be like for about 100 years before the, or 60 years, or 40 years, or 20 years, or however long it takes for the Cylons to show up as a. But I think they already showed up. It's called Las Vegas, right? All those one-armed bandits look just like Cylons. So I'm doing pretty good on my 6 cup of coffee. And I will evacuate soon. I think, what time is it? I think yes. I'll go do my errands, and I'll come back around at 1 o'clock, right? So, see you then. Love you guys. You stay well. Come on back. So 1 o'clock. Between 1 and 1:30, I'll be back. Tell your friends. Get an audience. Come on. So when it's 40 minutes and 40 seconds, I'm going to bail. So, okay? Okay. Good. That's how I first learned how to talk after the nun crushed my voice box with verbs. Okay.